simple word but a powerful tool, has changed the way we live and widened our horizons. Goa has recently embraced the progress of technologies and is launching its first ever IT policy. The policy aims at the development of Goa through development of technology parks, establishment of plug-and-play facilities and incubation centers, incentives for IT businesses, incentives for recruitment through on-campus placements, massive open online courses and knowledge-sharing camps. Goa is focused on being a creative base for IT businesses and startups. As a startup-friendly state, Goa is providing incentives for the industry to start operations such as land area rebate, capital investment subsidy, internet subsidy, salary subsidy, incentive for multinational technology companies. The journey to the future begins now. Welcome to Goa IT Day.
Very excited, honored to be here. And I'll tell you the three people whom I'm going to ask questions, why we all should be excited to hear. I'm sure you will know, but let me quickly introduce them. Mr. Mohandas Pai, I don't think so anyone needs to introduce him. But one thing which we all should feel proud of, and I always think and get very proud that he's a and you have to sit across the table with him to know that he's a genius when it comes to numbers. So, sir, you have some magical power when it comes to numbers. And if it is your area of weakness, then you shouldn't sit next to him. So, actually, I'm far from him, which is good. But he, to me, is a living legend in our country because his understanding of technology, his understanding of finance, having built Infosys, which all of us in this country are very proud, and now he's supporting startups and entrepreneurs across the country. So very honored to have him here. Hopefully, I'm going to ask him some tough questions, and because he keeps asking all tough questions, and all of you can join me. Mr. Parikar, I would say all of you, please, and thoda energy दिखाइए, ऐसे मत बैठे रहिए, don't get so. Mr. Parikar, I think all of us should give him a big round of applause. We are very, very proud to have Honorable Chief Minister. To us, he epitomizes what strength, what commitment, what passion, and what a life of purpose and service means. So I'm very honored, and all of us sitting next to him. And Mr. Conte, the less said about him, the better, because I always had perception about ministers कि ministers तो ministers होते हैं. We all know what ministers, what we think of ministers, but Mr. Conte has changed that perception, because if you want to know a young IT minister who's 24/7 driven, who will message you at 2 in the night whether the work is done or not, it's him, and he's kept us on our toes. So very delighted to be in this august company. So with this, I'm going to start the question, Mr. Pai, to you. You are championing the whole startup ecosystem in India, the investments. What has got you excited about Goa? What gets you
Shraddha,
here?
first of all, Goa is our Dharma Bhumi, is our homeland. I'm a Konkani. So for us, Goa is something very special. You know, our forefathers came from here, we live here, speak the language. So culturally, it's always been a dream to come to Goa. And today is a day of great happiness for me, having come here, seeing all this. And we have a dream to make Goa the leading IT state of India.
Yeah.
Now, Goa is a small state, 14 lakh people, 15 lakh people. It is not Karnataka with 6.5, Rajasthan with 7.8 crores or whatever it is. It's a small state. So what should Goa do? We believe that Goa should be at the cutting edge. AI, ML, robotics, big data, life sciences at the cutting edge of research, cutting edge of innovation, primarily because we are undergoing a disruption in technology right now. So we've seen the technology wave. So this disruption is being led by big data and AI.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity that's coming up because people who have a legacy, people who built up what was earlier have now to change. And change is very difficult. In Goa, we are starting almost the clean slate. There are about 270 startups in Goa, about 3,000 people. Now we got these wonderful educational institutions. We got a wonderful chief minister who's committed, a very young, handsome, dynamic IT minister, and IT policy today. So in the future, we have to make Goa a digital state. What does it mean? Every Goan should be connected to the web. Every place should have high-speed bandwidth. Children should learn new technology using handheld devices. In colleges, you must have high-quality data centers with all kind of knowledge. And the education system should change. We should create an open innovation system where companies can come up and set up their houses, set up their own startups and indulge in technology. And state should have a supporting role. The role model for Goa would be Israel, a very high-tech center at the cutting edge of technology. So that's why you're here, and so it's a very exciting time to be here. I was telling the Honorable Chief Minister, in 10 years, we got to demonstrate to the rest of India what Goans can do.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Mr. Parikar, what is your dream? Today you inaugurated the portal when it comes to IT innovation. What's your dream for the state?
I think right from 2000, I was always dreaming about Goa to become a IT power hub. In fact, I was instrumental in starting the department itself. And I went through a scheme called as Cyber Age. Now computer giving laptops to students in higher secondary and colleges has become a part of political agenda for everyone. But when there was no one who thought of it, Goa was the first state when laptops were given to the students at 11th for nominal price of 500 rupees. And it was like showering them with a IT logic. Goa has a capacity. Though it is small, we have a diaspora which is probably more than 1 or 2 crores. This is a very surprising figure as compared to the other states proportionately. Well, the state has only 15 lakh population. There will be about 1.5 crore Goans around India and maybe some 1 or 2 lakhs around globe. And the potential for developing high cutting edge IT technology is very good because we have excelled in science, we have excelled in music, we have excelled in art. Why not IT? So this was a dream. I think it required driving wheels. My minister is driving it hard, and friend like Pai is supporting it. Yeah. So this is a dream coming true.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much. Mr. Conte, congratulations for the inauguration of the portal. Congratulations for all that is happening, and we can see so many interesting, amazing startups. You tell me, what is your dream? What dream are you living right now?
Well, I think our CM has spoken about the vision for the state. When we talk about Goa and we talk about the future of Goans, talking about keeping Goans back in Goa, we need to have a plan. And it's a very interesting part, the way the lives are transforming. We're living in a very interesting part of history, actually, where we are changing everything, right from the way we think, right from the way we communicate, right from the way we consume, we produce, we work, we communicate. Everything is changing. This change is making a lot of people, whether it's the citizens or whether it's the business houses, start thinking different ways and methodologies of running their businesses, or citizens' expectations from the government. So today we are in a world where the government today has to start pitching itself to the requirements of the citizens, requirement of the business fraternity. Today we cannot sit in an ivory tower, the government cannot sit in an ivory tower and start doing what they want. So along with our Chief Minister, we have been having a lot of dialogues with different parts of the stakeholders of the industry, whether it's the Goa Chamber, CII, Goa Small Industries. And a lot of these inputs have made us do some corrective measures. What we thought is in terms of creating a G2B environment. Similarly for G2C, with e-governance and rest of the things coming in, citizens' expectations are high. Accountability of government because of mass media has become more. And for this, we need to ensure that governance is held on a proper terms. So our CM, as he takes this vision of his dream of taking IT ahead in the state, it is our also responsibility to create the next generation part. Transiting for the conventional mining or tourism economies, we need to start moving towards tourism and IT related economies. So if it's a knowledge-based destination, if it's a knowledge-based hub, where we talk about getting IT and the right investments, the right high-tech companies down, the whole idea about the Goan diaspora, reverse migration, allowing the people through this policy to retain themselves in the state, if this ecosystem is met and we have the IT enablers creating this ease of doing business that we are doing, then a new ecosystem for IT is being created. And this is exactly the vision the state carries under Shri Manohar Parrikar, that we need to have a very friendly governance, which can have less hassles for the citizens, which can have less hassles for the business community. This automatically will drive another economic factor. And very importantly, the focus is creating employment opportunities by either being more of a job giver than a job seeker. So to achieve this, I think we are on track. In the last 15 months. A lot of tasks have been taken up. We have worked little more than what was required to be. And it's a teamwork. Right from the secretary to director and the whole IT fraternity have actually participated their sweat to get this day today. And I owe it to the people of Goa, and mainly our Chief Minister, who has actually, from when he was in US, Makayat Jata, we used to put the things through mail, not wanting to disturb it that time, but I used to get a reply also within 24 hours. So it was not a selfish part of it, but it is something which showed the interest when he was in US also, and he has ensured that nothing stops and slows down because of he not being here. He ensured that things, clearances, everything were given, and that is why the dream part of achieving the startup, which we missed him for that particular day, that day we had a startup launch, and today we are having an IT launch today, which will focus on IT and IT-related enabled ITS, which will create the next Goa, the Goa which for the future, for all these youth who are sitting here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Conte. This is very encouraging, and we hope that you go on to succeed with every Goan being in the knowledge economy. Mr. Pai, the question to you is that you've been part and you've been a creator, co-creator of knowledge economy, if I may say so, and I don't want to bring up the place where we both flew from, and you've shaped those economies. For a successful knowledge economy, what are some of the things that have to come together?
Well, first I would say connectivity, because the world has gone far ahead. I would like high bandwidth, high-speed bandwidth to be available in all villages in Goa, all homes in Goa, and with everybody on a mobile. So it becomes a very wide society, a connected society, connected to the rest of the world. And once you're connected to the global networks, which gives you knowledge, information, and you're part of the global network. It's a virtual world, and you should be connected. Every child should be connected. And I think that's a dream, and I think that has to be the first thing. The second thing which is very important is the school and college education. Children are curious. We must satiate their curiosity by challenging them to be curious. So science festivals, making sure they do IT projects, all children from class 6 should learn coding. Because coding is like learning English today. And in Obama is trying to teach coding, but he's left. Now in the UK, they want coding in schools. So all schools should have coding from class 6. Small amounts of coding. So children learn how to code. And when they grow up, it becomes a second part of their lives. I think that's very important. And third, for innovation in schools, you must make sure that all of them have an opportunity to travel overseas, meet with other children, participate in the Intel Science Festival in the United States, go to other countries, etc. And that is a curiosity. When you come to colleges, there we have to really put in high quality labs in all colleges, are the central place where they can come and use their fingers, their hands and tinker. A 3D lab, for example, a robotics lab where they can create robots, and for example, a virtual trading desk for financial services, etc. In a centralized place or in colleges where they get free to come, they're free to operate, so they understand and they can look at many things. So, and in universities, we need to have courses which are redefined with what is current today. The courses are very old, they have to be redefined, they have to be the cutting edge, and you must look at a Stanford or a MIT to look at what is happening. It takes 10 years, let it take 10 years, but the thought should be there. And we should have innovation drives in universities so that kids can start their own startup. They should be given some small grants of 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, etc. And then when you come to industry, you need to have a seed fund, a startup fund to give a little bit of funding and create mentor networks, create networks of startups, etc. and have a series of events in Goa. Now Goa is a great place to come. So throughout the year, we must get an AI conference, an ML conference, a genetics conference, a genomics conference, all kind of things happening from all over. So Goa, we see the excitement, people coming. So the global talent comes to Goa, the local economy meets that, and there'll be magic. So that is some kind of a dream. And it's not a difficult dream. It's not difficult because there are only 15 lakh people in Goa. Yeah. There could be 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh children. There could be 50, 60,000 young people in college. So reaching them out is not very difficult. Now the total young people is what the IT industry hides in 1 year. So it's not a very difficult thing, but it requires great leadership. It requires a little bit of money and passion and energy and networking and connectivity and a great vision.
Great, thank you so much. Thanks, Mr. Pai. Mr. Parikar, for what Mr. Pai just said, coming together of the different constituents of the ecosystem, particularly inviting experts and people in different fields, be it funds, be it corporates, to Goa. How open is your state to make that happen? And what are you doing?
In IT sector at least, you will be seeing the policy tomorrow. We have worked out arrangement by which all the bureaucratic red tapeism is virtually brought down to very small component. So if someone is promised something, this is true for industries also. We are also coming out with industrial policy. For whatever is promised has to be delivered to him in reasonable time, with reasonable energy, and with very less hassles. I think the policy itself ensures many of these things, so that once you are through, like that certificate which has been issued for a startup, it entitles him for a policy initiatives which are benefits which are there, and those can be cleared by one single committee, that's all.
How do you bring your entrepreneurship learnings into making all these happen so fast?
The tough questions were supposed to go there. How I came into politics, I'm not aware. But if things have to change, I always believe that be in the system and make the change. It's very easy to blame the system for what is going wrong. It is very easy to blame the politicians to where they are going wrong. But to be into the political shoes, try to make the systems move in the way the government would want to facilitate a lot of things. I think the entrepreneurship model has helped me a lot. Having our CM, a lot of learning from him, from his simplicity to the will what he carries, that gives us a lot of push to get things on the correct mode. And I think the last few years in politics has, at least with the principles that we have had kept in life, we have seen that whatever has come way has got the right direction, has got the right path, not only for the government, but for Goa at large, because Goa is about Goans. And if we are talking about Goans at large, we need policies to be in place. We needed a lot of schemes to be in place, because the day we come here and we say that we are going to do in cabins, and rather you talk about delivering it by walking the talk. I think the government presently believes in walking the talk. And this whole teamwork along with him has been the drive for which we're talking about, whether it's policies or whether it's the IT policy day. The IT policy day today coming through has a lot of inputs from the Goa IT Advisory Council, where Mohandas Bab also is a member. There has been a lot of inputs coming from the GTA and the fraternity of the IT industry. So it has been all, this government is about participative and discussions which have been very transparent. So if these type of things take place, entrepreneur in his business model would work in the same way. As a CEO or a MD or a chairman of a company would work in the same way. The best part, what CM has said, is IT enabling systems, cutting off red tapeism and bureaucracy. I think if this mantra goes ahead in the right direction, a lot of deliverables with the thoughts of simplification to procedures and right to time-bound deliveries will come through, which actually will be a dream for all Goans who are living here.
Thank you. Thanks so much. You know, one thing to all of you, and this is a question maybe a little more directed towards Mr. Pai, is for startup ecosystem to thrive and grow and attract the best talent, somewhere money is very critical, and venture capital or seed or angel investment is very critical. What are we seeing, or what is happening in Goa to get those moneyed people? I know I am in the company of moneyed people, but is there a plan to create, invite funds, create your own angel, Goa Angel Network?
No, I think every state should have a seed fund to make sure that anybody comes with an idea, they get a grant. I recommend to Minister to have a Goa Elevate 50 like Karnataka does, where you call all startups, young startups to come, give an idea, and the best startups, top 10 maybe a year, get 25 lakhs for marketing as a grant. Yeah. And a grant, then a seed fund, then a venture fund. Of course, Goa cannot spend so much of money. They can be a catalyst. Catalyst means you put up 25-30% for the first 500 startups, spend maybe over the next 5 years, something like 250-300 crore, which is not much for Goa. And you became a catalyst to get more money in. Now, money will come in provided you know how to market. Money will come in when you have technology. Money will come in when you have innovation. But you need the innovation to come up. And that's where Goa has to help. Once they come up to a certain stage, then the system will take care of everything. So I think this, because today, let me tell you, people outside haven't heard of Goa as an IT destination. We always know Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, Gurgaon, etc., but we don't know Goa. Now, I was pleasantly surprised to see that 270 startups and there are nearly 3,000 people. And what is much more happy thing for me is to learn that 35-40% of employees in the top 2 companies of Goa are women. That's a very high percentage. It shows the kind of society Goa is. And Goa is a global village. So in every village you could have 10 startups. They could take old bungalows and set up shop there and start working. So I think this kind of a framework is essential, and then you invite others. But essentially, Goa has to market itself. Abe has marketed itself as a film center, market itself as a tourist destination. Now it has to market as an IT destination.
I would just like to add to this. The startup policy got launched in April. From April, we are already having a Goa Angel Network already formed. Srinivas Dempo is chairing that Goa Angel Network, which is powered by Mumbai Angel Network. EDC already has kept funds to the tune of 500 lakhs as seed funds. The government schemes and policies which are lined up from the startup per se are very clear and very simple to avail. What I feel today is a challenge in Goa is the exposure from a startup who's got innovation, who's got ideas, to get into an entrepreneurship model. The bridge of a person who wants to do something has a problem of how to get that thing. So I believe we have started with the Startup Yatra, we are having boot camps, we are having a lot of aggressive campaigns happening post the IT policy on the startup. So this will give a lot of booster at the college, at the university levels, where we will start identifying new innovations, new people. A talent pool in Goa has never been less. IT, as Goa is concerned, I think we have an amazing talent pool who maybe sometimes have gone out of the state because of opportunity gaps. This is the part which we need to play today. One is, as we create policies and schemes, we need to ensure that a proper bridging of the gap between the startup and him to be an entrepreneur, to understand the economics of running a business model, that needs to be tuned in. And I think with EDC, with a lot of Goa Chamber and the rest of the associations and GTA, I'm pretty sure with all these people participating very actively, we will bridge this gap very soon.
Thanks so much. Mr. Conte, just very quickly, there are some very good industrialists, and today I met some very successful entrepreneurs who've been running their businesses in Goa for last 30 years, and so you introduced me to some of them. Are you getting these people involved to support the startup ecosystem? Are you creating a body with all these established players here in Goa?
All the established players who are in Goa have always been wanting to give something back to Goa in some or the other form. The start of the Goa Angel Network was an initial invite to these people. It was very well accepted by people from these fragments who are in different parts of the industry coming together and saying, yes, from our business economics, we will participate and have a strong Goa Angel Network. Let us get the budding Goans, get into an international platform, a national platform, let us start delivering. See, this is the reciprocity part, what we expect when you talk about government and the business fraternity. If this response is good, then reciprocation is positive, then we can expect positive governance also to happen. If we do not get this type of thing, because when we try to simplify procedures, there are reforms. Now, either I participate with the reforms or I oppose the reforms. Today, it is all on the citizen's perspective of looking at how the things are coming, because sometimes reforms are hard, but they are good for the long run. If I look at self-requirement, then it is like, you don't want to get into the reforms, but it is more harm than any good. So this is a time when all Goa has been, or the Goans have been looking at an opportunity. CM has been driving the industrial policy. Today we are launching the IT policy. These policies will have a lot of things, not only from the government, because government, at the end of the day, is a facilitator. We would want the industry to come together. We take this opportunity on every forum to say that the individual industries in Goa, having resources in the state, should look at employing Goans, or at least participate in the task of skilling Goans to ensure that Goans, not only on IT or IT enabled, being a labor and employment minister, I think employment also is a challenge. So it is the whole area which we are looking today to create a favorable ecosystem for employment. And these policies will drive it.
Thank you. Thanks so much. So before I open it to the audience, Mr. Parikar, one last word from you on what all these initiatives, different things happening, what will success as a chief minister look to you? What would you say, hey, I was successful?
As Monda said, that Goa is not known as an IT destination. I remember when I started my industry here, and I was dealing with top companies like HMT, Pinjore, HMT Bangalore, then all steel plants all over the country. I went to HMT once to market my product. They required some specialized hydraulic cylinder. And instead of discussing on the hydraulic cylinder, the concerned technical director was discussing with me about the beaches and beauty of Goa as a tourism destination. And out of some 1 hour meeting, probably 45 to 50 minutes were discussions on Goa as a tourist destination. So Goa was known for its tourist destination. There is one area where probably we don't have to market much, but a lot of people don't know about the talents in Goa. You take any field, and Mondas Pai will agree with me, whether it is art, whether it is science, whether it is armed forces, such a small place, music, such a small place has produced talent beyond its strength. And this exists for IT also. Only opportunity is required. Otherwise, we would have Mangeshkars staying in Goa. Why did they have to migrate? Because opportunities were lacking. We have a lot of IT talent which is in Bangalore, driving the engine in Bangalore or Pune. Pune and Bangalore are favorite destination of Goan IT sector. We need to have the reverse brain drain for the state. My target would be let my talent stay in the state and develop the state and become an industrial as well as IT hub with positive mind frame. What is happening is many times when you don't get proper opportunities, you tend to go into negative mind frame. I think we are slipping into negative mind frame. This is a good opportunity to reverse the trend of negative mind frame into positive mind frame. And IT and a good industry, non-political industry will do that. That's my
so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. And as you said, you are an optimist. So we are hopeful that you will make it happen. Thank you so much, sir. Shall we take one or two questions?
Hello everyone, this is Ramanan from Wipro. I'll be one of the speakers as well. Thanks a lot for exciting session. To be frank, the policies and other things what you're making is already seeing an impact because one of the Goan employee who used to work in Bangalore in Wipro has already quit, and he has started his own company in Goa, which means that it's working. But there are other two more colleagues who are still working. Maybe there is still more some chance. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
I'm going to tell Premji what you're saying, okay?
No, but they are contributing to India and for Goa.
Yeah, yes, of course.
Of course. What I want to say is the science, it's working, and I think it needs to sustain. That's the only point.
Yes.
Morning. I'm Asha. This point about teaching students coding in schools, that's something very close to my heart. As somebody who understands startups, the ecosystem, and as a mother of an 11-year-old, I would love to know what initiatives are we taking to bring technology into the schools, to innovate the way technology is introduced in their curriculum.
So you want your child to be a Zuckerberg or a...
She's already decided that she will start up. She doesn't want to be a writer like me.
Amazing. Asha, right?
Asha Chaudhary.
Hi, Asha, yes.
Ashaji, I think whatever you have in your mind is already in the plans of the government. Coding, do it yourself, giving the imaginations of the child to come into reality is something which we're going by a campus and by colleges and institutions. The map will start somewhere from October. So you can expect coding to start at that particular level, but we have, like what you say, the young crowd is having a lot of capabilities, they need to be tapped. And this is one of the things which we will be taking up. Like my friend from Wipro, what he was talking, another success story in the last 2 days is one of the companies from Canada, which has been mentored and initiated by a Goan in Canada, one of my juniors. He's thinking about opening another space in Goa. Add to it, one of my juniors in school who had migrated, who was a brain in Goa, we got it drained then because we didn't have an opportunity. Knowing about the policy, he's already come back and he's going to be a part of the same company who's setting up this particular shop in the state. So I think success stories are already getting built up. And the youth, what you expect, I'm sure with what our CM is taking as a vision and a dream, we will ensure that all these type of things are taken care of under the policy, from the startup to the IT policy.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one last question, please.
I've joined Tangential. Vijay is here. Rohan was referring to him. So I spent a lot of time in Wipro as well. I had one question for Mohandas Pai sir. We had the IT industry boom in Bangalore. I've been there since '97. I've been a part of it. I've come back here. I'm hoping to contribute to Goa now. But if there was one thing that has worked for Bangalore, right, these last 20-odd years, and if we were to replicate it in Goa and fast track it, what happened there in 20 years, can be done here in 5 years. What would that be?
Well, what Goa needs is a hero. We need a Goan entrepreneur who's done something amazing, who's an hero and an inspiration to everybody. Now, as a political leader, for me, Manohar Mam is a hero to me. All right? I'm sure to all of you. But we need a Goan entrepreneur to be here talk about his company. So we need to make 4 or 5 heroes of Goan entrepreneurs, showcase them to young people, and do that. In Bangalore, Premji was a big hero, Murthy was a big hero, and it all worked. Infosys came up in the early 90s, right? And then Intel was there first, and Intel came up, and Intel stood up. TI came up, TI stood up. Suddenly there was a change in the scenario. Everybody wanted to be there. So I think that's the thing. We need a catalyst. We need a hero. We need 4 or 5 faces. In fact, I've been telling Shraddha that whoever are the entrepreneurs in Goa, she must showcase them in your story, write about their stories and showcase them. And once all young people here know about it, they will also say, I want to be like this. Because we need that inspiration.
Shantanu, I would like to add over here. I think a state like Goa already has heroes. What we need today is we have to think differently. We shouldn't get into any replication model because every state has its own plus points. We have a very robust infrastructure already. We have a high talent pool. And very importantly, we have a high quality of life. This is not existing in the particular state that you mentioned. So whether it was Delhi, Gujarat, each state functions differently. So let us have our own ideas which will create energies for the future, which will create a right ecosystem, because like Mohandas Bab said, we do not carry any legacy. So we can adapt to the latest technologies, high-end technologies, and create a right forum for the youngsters of today.
Sure, thanks.
Amazing. Let's give a big round of applause to all our speakers. Thank you so much.
India is a population of 1.35 billion. We're growing at 1.2%. So there is population stability. Replacement rate is 1.1. We are just there. The fertility rate for India is 2.2. Replacement is 2.1. The whole of the South, Manohar Ma'am, is below replacement rate. I don't know what is the fertility rate for Goa. For Karnataka is 1.8 and replacement is 2.1. And we have got, what is that? 1.61. That's pretty low. We need to produce more babies in Goa. Now, the GDP of Goa is GDP of India is $2.6 trillion. We're the fastest growing economy in the world now, but our PPP is $10.3 trillion. There is no large country where the PPP is 4 times. China is 1.8 times. Export, import, you've seen all this. Now, what did we do from 1991 till 2018? From 1991 till 2018, population grew at 1.6%, but our GDP grew in dollar terms at 8.7% a year for 27 years. 8.7% a year for 27 years. There's only one country in the world which grew faster than us for 27 years, and that is China. But we grew from 275 billion to 2.6 trillion. So the biggest action in the world is happening right here in India. And if you look at our exports, imports, they've grown in dollar terms at 11% CAGR. We got a good savings rate of 28%, so we have adequate capital. We only need 2% of capital to come into India from overseas to develop this country. Look at the last 10 years. We've grown at 9.3, 9.4, 8.2, 6.6%. And for the next year, we expect to grow at 7.4, 7.7% at a time when the world is facing turmoil because of Trump and his trade policies. We are 13 years, 14 years behind China. China started liberalizing in 1978. We opened up in 1991. In 1947, I think we were maybe 4% of the world trade. 1910, we were 10% of the world trade. In 1825, India was the biggest economy in the world, 25% of world GDP. We came down because of colonization, but now we are coming back up. So by 2030, we'll see a miracle happening around the world. So we need to grow at 8.5% a year from now till 2030 with a constant currency to grow to $10 trillion. And we've grown at 8.7, so it's easily feasible. This is an important slide. It was 200 years ago when Europe overtook Asia to become the largest economy in the world. And by 2021, the emerging markets will overtake the OECD to become the largest part of the world. So the last 200 years in the 5,000 years history of India is a blimp. We've overtaken, now we're coming back. By 2021, China, India will be the dominant part of the world. Asia will be the largest economic part in the world. The OECD will still have huge savings and capital, but the capital will flow to these countries in the next 10, 15 years, and we're seeing a rapid change. So the world is at an inflection point, and the world is in turmoil because power is going from the west to the east. And the rise of China, the rise of India is making ripples around the world. And you can see all the figures here. By 2031, the transition will be complete. So right now, we are in the midst of this transition. India, China. There's only one country in the world we have to compare India with, and that is China. Because when you look at any ranking, India is 120, India is 130, India is 80. You can't compare India with Singapore. Singapore is half of Bangalore. You can't compare everybody with Finland. Goa is bigger than Finland. Goa is small, but it's still bigger than Finland. They're small countries. In small countries, it's very easy. No country is as big as India except China. No political leaders have to handle a country of the size of India. So there's no point comparing ourselves with small other countries. Even the United States with 315 million people is a small country compared to the diversity of India. So look at China. China's population is growing at 0.39%, much before replacement. China could be older before it becomes richer because Chinese, they have a one-child policy since 1978. They've only produced right now 16 million babies. We produce 25 million babies. It stabilized at 25 million for the last 30 years, but it'll go down very soon because we're not just working hard enough. And literacy rate in India is quite high, and China literacy is 96. When Mao took over in 1949, he said, women hold up half of heaven. China educated his women, empowered them. India did not educate a woman. India did not empower a woman after independence. We failed. And now with women getting educated and women rising up, we will see the rise of a new India. That is going to be the change. So China's GDP is 13.3 trillion. 13.3 trillion. It will overtake the United States in another 5-7 years in nominal terms. In PPP is 25 trillion. And India is 10 trillion. China is the factory of the world, the largest exporter, largest importer, largest currency reserves, largest debt in the world, etc. It's a big country. Why am I comparing? Because we have an opportunity where we can be a very large economy, where poverty will be abolished, and India can become a land of plenty. Because we are one of the richest countries in the world throughout human history. And once again, we should be, and Goa should lead. This is something that I want to compliment the current government. They brought down subsidies from 2.4% to 1.8% of GDP by having DBT, giving money to people, etc. If poverty is defined as lack of purchasing power, what government is doing in giving money to the bank accounts of people below the poverty line is empowering them, and we see about maybe 60-70,000 crores being saved every year because a lot of our money was getting robbed, and this stopping, it also means more money is available for education and development right now. Look at this slide. You should be proud of this slide. This is India. Second largest steel producer in the world, 125 million. China is 750. But we are larger than the US, larger than Japan. Cement, second largest, 450 million tons of capacity, 320 million tons of production, second largest in the world. Of course, China is 2.2 billion. Two-wheelers, largest in the world. China is behind. They're catching up in electric scooters. Four-wheelers, we are the 5th or 6th largest in the world after Germany. Now we are 3.8 million vehicles per year. Construction, second largest in the world, 500 million. IT BPO, 5th largest in the world. Power, 5th largest in the world, coming up to number 3 or 4. Wireless, maybe the largest, maybe the second largest, competing with China. So we are not a small country. We are not a poor country. We got poor people, but we're not a poor country. We are a major industrial power. Remember these words. It's very important for you to all to be proud of your country. Agriculture. We have a very strong agriculture base. 277 million tons of food grain, second largest in the world. Largest producer of milk, 169 million tons. Largest producer of cotton in the world. Horticulture, second largest producer of fruits and vegetables. Second largest producer of sugar in the world. The largest producer of spices, cropland. With the largest quantum of cropland in the world, 179 million hectares. More than any country. Our productivity is poor, but cropland is very large. Livestock, 512 million livestock. They have rights in this country. They have fundamental rights. They wander all over the place. You see them all the streets. They're part of our culture, but they have rights. So we're a major producer of agrochemicals, largest exporter of cereal projects. All the 15 major climatic conditions the world exists in India, and we have 46 of the 60 soil types that the world has within this country. Average age, we are a young country. By 2020, will be only 29 years in terms of an average. China will be older, 37. Japan is 48. Last year, the Japanese had 930,000 babies, 1.3 million Japanese died. 25% of Japan is above the age of 65. The Japanese population of 125 million will decline to 97 million by 2050 and 67 million by 2100. We're not going to decline soon, so we're going to outlast every single country in the world. The West will decline in population, they'll become older, so we're going to be around for a long time. We'll be around for the young population till 2100. Look at this data. You can see the slides. So we have a large working population. Education. We have 865 universities, 51,000 colleges, 3.5 crore young people in college. 3.5 crore young people. There's no dearth of talent. They have to be trained, they have to be skilled, and the gross enrollment rate in college is only 25. Out of 100 kids who enter school in India, 75 complete class 10, possibly about 35, 40 go to a complete class 12, and about 25 go to college. We need to bring it up to 50, and FICCI under Shobha says by 2030 we'll have 75 million, 7.5 crore young people in college. We're the largest university system in the world, largest higher education system in the world right now. And look at this, we have adequate savings. Investment has come down for various reasons because of high inflation in the last, before this government came. Our savings are pretty good. Our consumption has gone up. So we are a consumption-driven economy. Unlike China, we are not an export-driven economy. Now this is our challenge. If you look at India, agriculture is 18% of population, 18% of GDP, 43% of population. The problem of India is we have 43% of our people dependent on agriculture, which is growing at 3%. We have 57% of people depending on service and industry, which is possibly at about 86% of GDP, growing at 8 to 9%. So we must take people off the land and put them into factories, into services, and educate them for the future, because on the land, so many people can't earn money. That is the big political issue for India. How to make sure that more and more people come off the land. Goa doesn't have this problem because it's a well-educated state. But look at China. China has removed 350 million people out of poverty in the last 20 years. India has removed maybe 200 million people out of poverty in the last 20 years. So we are catching up, and China has got a large industrial base. We need to grow our industry, and that's why Made in India is very important. Now, the startup ecosystem is going to make India a $10 trillion economy because they're going to make India more efficient. We're the third largest system in the world. 26,000 startups. This is the data Shraddha gave me earlier. Now Shraddha says there are 40,000 startups. And Shraddha has got the stories of all the startups, right Shraddha? And they created $100 billion of value. Flipkart got taken over at 20 billion. 20 billion in 7 years. And Sachin is walking off with $1 billion. How many of you want to walk off with $1 billion in 10 years? Come on, don't you have an ambition to be a billionaire? Yeah, at least Shraddha has got. You can only do that if you're an entrepreneur, all right? If you're a salary person, it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Ask me, okay? Very difficult. So we have created so much of value. Now startups, 82% are in Delhi, Bangalore, and Mumbai. We want to have Goa here, and I'm sure Goa will also come up. Now, why will India succeed in IT? Let me give you some data. We have about $175 billion of IT in this country, $125 billion of export, the latest data, 4.25 million people employed. Are the top 10 software service companies in the world by market value, 5 are Indian. Are the top 5, 3 are Indian. Are the 2 million employees in the top 10, 1.5 million are Indian. 60% of IT service work outsourcing comes to India. We have 75,000 IT companies in India with 30,000 startups. I got to revise the number. So we got a huge pool of talent. We got bright youngsters coming because the IT industry is based on human beings. So our dream, Manor Ma'am, is by 2025, India will have 100,000 startups. They'll employ 3.5 million people. They'll create $500 billion of value and will be number 2 after the United States. Can we overtake the United States? It'll take us 50 years, but we will try. And in the US, Manor Ma'am, there are 6 million people working in IT. 1 million are Indians. Many of them are Goans too. Out of 4.25 million Indians working in IT in India, 2 million work for American companies. So out of 8 million who work for American companies, 3 million are Indians. So when you meet Trump, whisper into his ears that IT, we are all partners there, so don't try to push us out. Please come and work with us. Now, look at this. These are all the other different cities which are coming up. Bangalore dominates. Bangalore is strong in B2C, and Bangalore is strong because Shraddha is there, and that makes an impact. So there are companies in various areas, in all areas, e-commerce, enterprise, education, mobile, consumer web, gaming. So there's a very wide spread of startup that's happening. And Flipkart's and valuation $1 billion, there are about 20 companies which are unicorns, about 14, 15 are known, other are marginal unicorns. Baiju was a company from Bangalore. We gave them the first check of $9 million at 20 million pre 5 years ago. Now they're worth 1.4 billion. And he's an extraordinary entrepreneur, let me tell you. If Baiju comes and speaks, there is magic in the air. Shraddha is very fond of him, always calls him. So you see this kind of companies that are there. B2C valuation is also gone up. This is old data, I should update this. Now in B2B2, we have some wonderful companies, and total valuation is about $100 billion. And the B2B companies grow slower because they're not B2C. B2C consume capital. Flipkart has raised $7.5 billion, blown up $5 billion. They got $2.5 billion capital. Possibly this year they'll blow up $1 billion. Only Uncle Sam can give money. Now we got Masa from Japan pouring money into India, which is good news for us because the money is being spent here. The stock markets are going to see greater companies listed. The NSE is seeing some companies come up, and this is very exciting. So what will the future of startups look like? Now the good news, every Indian is connected to the web. Every Indian is seeing a change in their lives. And every Indian is doing business on the web, talking to people and everything else. Ravi Shankar Prasad speaks about a lady, old lady, in a remote village in Andhra Pradesh who does FaceTime with a grandchild in Dubai. Can you believe that? When you become old, you become lonely, your children go away, you sit in the house, you don't know what to do, you want to talk to your grandchildren. Now, with the power of technology in your hand, you can talk to everybody, do rich video. Manor Mom, that is what will make our lives better. That's why we need every Goan to have a smartphone. And you have to announce that, Manor Mom, sometime. Every Goan will have a smartphone given by you. It'll cost a little bit of money, but that doesn't matter. That's a small price. So India's digital push is based upon 3 parameters. Startup ecosystem is going to change India, make India productive. It can raise India's growth rate by 1 to 1.5%. Our supply chain costs are 14% of GDP, China is 6%, America is 5%. So we've got to be more efficient. Smartphone penetration and the India Stack. The India Stack is a piece of magic. The India Stack is done by a group of volunteers led by Nandan Nilekani. Again, Manor Ma'am has a hand in that. I think Nandan was a classmate, Manor Ma'am. Nandan was his classmate. So a group of volunteers created a public good called the India Stack. The India Stack has a consent layer, cashless layer, paperless layer, presenceless layer. A consent layer is an open data store, and we got UPI for transfer of money. So on a phone, in 30 seconds, you can transfer money. It actually works. I did it in Dubai, I did it in Tokyo, showing the Japanese, look at this payment and tell me what you got there. They got nothing like this. America has nothing like this. You can go around the world, transfer 10 rupees and show them, and they'll all wonder, ye kya ho gaya? Kaise hua? Kyun hua? Kab hua? India Stack se hua. So you got paperless Aadhaar. Aadhaar is 1.2 billion people. In fact, I had a conversation with Manor Ma'am that, look, I asked him, there are 1.3 billion Indians, 1.2 billion Aadhaar. How is it possible? You mean to say every child above 4 has got it? He said, you know, it's been 7 years. Maybe some of the Indians who have Aadhaar are dead. They've not been removed from the name. Because, you know, about 70, 80 lakhs die in India every single year of old age and other causes. So we got the Jam Trinity done by Manor Ma'am's government in Delhi, which is fantastic. The India Stack is the greatest piece of technology which will transform a nation. I think Goa should have its own Goa Stack. Adopt this, rebrand it, call it the Goa Stack, and give it to every Goan. Now, how did the evolution took place? It started in 2009, 2010 Aadhaar came, 2011 we had APB, Aadhaar, eKYC, etc. And it all culminated in numbers. Now, Aadhaar has got 1.2 billion. We got 1.15 billion, 1.1 billion bank accounts. We got 1.2 mobile numbers, 900 million unique numbers. Now, which country has this? We have 450 million people on the internet. Which country has 450 million? Only China. China has 600 million. Yet in the internet ranking, we come at number 45 or 50. Why? Oh, only 30% of your population has got internet. So what? If there are 5 million people in Singapore, everybody's got internet, it's a joke. We got 1.3 billion people. We are not there. So when the ranking comes, don't get disheartened. More than 90% have enrolled for Aadhaar. You see this number. More and more people are enrolling for Aadhaar. This is fantastic. Daily Aadhaar authentication is going up. Look at the technology assimilation. Every Indian is tech savvy. Every Indian has an Aadhaar. When I got an Aadhaar, I follow the debates on TV about Aadhaar. With Aadhaar, you can't snoop. Your data is not there. It's only a piece of authentication. And it works beautifully for many things. So look at more than 500 million use their digital identity 15 billion times. These are very large numbers. API calls for KYC is coming up, 3.9 billion API calls. And you look at UPI, card transaction after 20 years is 300 million. UPI today is about 240 million. Right, Nakul? Latest number is 240 million. Look at this, 18 months, 20 months. When all Indians use UPI, you can transfer money easily. You can make payment of money without using currency, and that'll be fantastic. So we had regulatory changes. 21 banks have been licensed in 3 months, and we had only 45 banks we had only 14 banks in 45 years. So we were economically repressed for a long time. Now things are opening up, and we're seeing world-class products being built on India Stack. So if you have an India Stack laboratory in Goa, I'm sure all the youngsters here will start building great technology on top of India Stack. What are the benefits of the India Stack? For a large bank to open a bank account, time came down from 6 days to 1 hour, and you made India efficient. I opened my account, new account with ICICI Bank in 2 minutes. I put my thumbprint, gave the Aadhaar number, the bank account is open. So banks can't harass you because of Aadhaar. Now, in asset manager, 4 hours to 2 minutes in mutual funds, and now they say that mutual funds got 1.4 lakh crores. 1.4 lakh crores of money from April to June of 2018. $2.5 billion every month comes into the mutual fund industry. $2 billion comes into the equity markets to the mutual funds. And how does it happen? Because in the last 3 years, more than 2 crore Indians opened accounts. How did it happen? Because of Aadhaar. Now in telecom, this is a new magic. We had Reliance Jio, and Mukesh came and said, Jio by Jio. He gave us free data. The Indians used it, 35 GB in a month, the highest in the world. It is free. Everybody is watching movies 4 hours a day. And most Indians don't have work in the villages and all, they're bored, so they watch movies. So I think it's fantastic, right? Now you get unlimited data for $1.50, 100 rupees, you get unlimited data. Which country gives you unlimited data for 100 rupees? No country in the world. It's the cheapest data plan in the world. And when all Indians get this data, use this data, the amount of data that's going to come is going to be unbelievable. And how did he have 215 million subscribers in 7 quarters? Because of Aadhaar. It took only 4 minutes for 1 subscriber, and they used to give out 600,000 SIM cards every day. Smartphones, we have 350 million smartphones, maybe 400 now. 25 million are being bought every quarter. And India has become a major manufacturer of smartphones. It's still assembled with 15% value addition, but it'll improve. Now Korea, the Samsung is building the largest mobile factory in the world in Noida, and this is fantastic. And we're going to have 750 million smartphones. So Mukesh Ambani is giving every Indian a smartphone alike at 1,500 rupees. Now I think he reduced it to 500 rupees. So on that you can do video, you can see movies, you can see everything else. Because data is the new oil. This is beautiful, isn't it? We'll go from a data-poor country to a data-rich nation in 5 years. We're halfway there. You ask Shraddha how much data she's got on a portal. I'm sure she also hasn't counted because it's so large, Shraddha. You've got to run an algorithm to count it and make much of it. Huge amount of data coming from social, commerce, payment, process, etc. To increase market size by 10x or 50x, we need to have greater portals. Look at this. Credit without friction. Finish. 1 minute we finish. You're going? 1 minute. Ek minute. Credit without friction. Now you can get loans in 30 minutes by this. New age platforms are digitizing the ecosystem. Jobs are being produced by service providers like a Ola and a Uber. So you can see the digital ecosystem. And this is a digital ecosystem. Ola, Ubers are producing huge amount of jobs. And then you can see the new kind of companies producing jobs like Practo, etc., because they're digitizing the environment, and we're seeing a fantastic amount of jobs being created. Goa needs a big way, and Indians embracing smartphones, accelerating change, and a robust foundation is being laid for innovation. Therefore, India is optimizing to empower problem solvers, and all of you in this room, the tech startups, are going to help India become a $10 trillion economy by 2030. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. We'll have Q&A.